Welcome to Board Ghost, a story broadcast with games as the engine.
If living is a highway, then heaven is a bus stop. Been waiting for a minute there, or has it been forever? 'Cause dying don't agree with me, no. Dying don't agree with me, no. All you board ghosts, come with me, we're going home.
We believe you're out there, hungry for stories for shared experiences. We can't see you, can't hear you, yet we will play for you. This night's offering is Fiasco. To learn how we play the game of Fiasco to generate our stories, go check out our rules primer. Also, go pick up the game. It's available on Bully Pulpit Games and at your friendly local game store.
Fiasco's great. We love this game.
So our humble players this week, myself, John Holt, with us again,
Ken Breese. Hey, everybody.
and two great returning guests.
Lauren Bilanko.
All right, and
Pat Cartelli.
all right, welcome back, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Good
These
to be
two.
fiascoing.
Mm-hmm.
Dun.
Cool. So this week we're going to be playing the rule set, The Beast of Sucker Creek, and we're actually using the Fiasco mobile app that you can get on iTunes.
Indeed. We are
And Android.
truly going paperless to some degree here. Not really. We're using a lot of paper.
There's a lot of paper. on
There's a
the
lot of
table.
paper. But less paper than there might normally be. The next step is to generate our grid.
Yeah, we've rolled our dice already,
Yeah.
and let's go for it. We've generated our grid and a little bit about the score. So this is from Jason Morningstar, the creator of Fiasco, The Beast of Sucker Creek. The beast lives on. Sightings of a hairy man-like creature in and around Sucker Creek go back hundreds of years. The legend of the Riado people tell of a Nitashii, the strong one, who lived in the dark swamps of the Sucker Creek Basin. Since white settlement of the region, reports of blood-chilling cries in the night and the occasional sightings of the beast have been a local fixture of local gossip. Is it a madman, a crazed bear, something strange and wholly new to science? No one knows, but those who have crossed paths with it are convinced of one thing. The beast of Sucker Creek is real, and you don't want to make it angry. So there's a special rule for this one. The beast
Nice.
of Sucker Creek may be real or not, but by the end of the game, no conclusive proof of its existence can remain. If it is real and photos are taken, they must be lost or erased. If it is fake, they are obvious hoaxes. If the carcass is paraded around Main Street, it must later be devoured by wild dogs. If somebody has its baby, ... Okay, that's fine, actually. All right, and so movie night on this, Legend of Boggy Creek, Sasquatch Odyssey, The Mysterious Monsters, Bigfoot and Wild Boy, In Search of Bigfoot, and Creature from Black Lake. All right, so we've generated our grid. We've got, between Lauren and myself, our relationship, Monster Hunters, the TV's Rico the Manhunter Sanchez, and a local fan. And we also share a need to explore the deepest corner of Sucker Creek Basin. Between myself and Pat, we have troublemakers. You bring the rifles, I'll bring the beer, and an object, chump hunting, business card reading, swamp expert. Between Pat and Ken, we've got swamp friends, hog farmer, and a cattle rancher. Also, the need to contact the global conspiracy hiding the truth behind the beast.
Exactly.
And between Ken and Lauren, we have family. They are Swampkin, which is a cute toy. Swampkin.
Everybody get your swampkin.
Their object is monster hunting, rotting meat, and fox urine in a cooler. All right, so that's our grid. We'll go ahead and figure out our characters and go from there.
All right, everybody. I have a great relationship with Pat's character and a great relationship with Lauren's character. My character is a farmer. Her name is Esther. Her name is Esther Canton. Esther is like 42 years old. She's never been married. She lives out in the swamp. She's the last of her family, basically, who lives out in the swamp. She's taking care of the old farm after her parents died. And she grew up with tales of the creature. She's taken to calling it Earl or Sucky sometimes, but affectionately she refers to it as Earl. It's taken on this weird, like, mythological proportion for her, where she feels like she needs to protect the creature, but also that everyone needs to protect it and realize that she's right, that it is out there and it is a thing that exists. I think that she's a little bit paranoid. She has curly, mousy, brown, gray hair. She wears galoshes, like old army galoshes. She wears a poncho a lot. She carries a switch to hit her pigs with. She's a pig farmer. And she has a feed pouch that she usually throws. She can throw feed out to her pigs. And that's basically Esther's deal. And she has a sister, I guess, out there that she's sort of estranged from. But Esther considers herself an expert monster hunter because she knows the land. She doesn't really hunt, though. She's more of a protector.
A monster protector.
Yeah, monster protector. If that makes any sense. She's not a denier. She's a monster truther. She's a sucky truther.
Cool. So I'm Josie Canton, but I go by Josie Dynamite.
Yeah, exactly.
The monster hunter on the Rico network at 7 p.m. sharp. Yeah, maybe we're like twin. No, I think I'm younger than you.
Yeah.
Because you're like 45. I'm definitely like
early mid 40s.
in my prime, like 28.
What?
You know?
Yeah.
I would say. I definitely want to show the world that Earl, as my sister calls him or her, totally exists. I am all about finding proof of this. I've had a lot of trouble getting this through the networks, and most of the episodes so far leading up to this finale have been kind of a build-up into the big reveal, and so everything is sort of riding on me really finding the answers and having like a great season finale for the Monster Hunters network, so that we can get signed on for another one.
So I am playing a fan of the Monster Hunters television show that I watched quite a bit when I was in rehab. My daddy sent me to rehab. I'm playing Jason Tooms, the 27-year-old kind of town boy, good old boy, whose dad runs and whose family has sort of run some of the larger mills in town. And a couple, like, they've been managers of some industry in the town. And so I just kind of had a ride, just kind of do what I want a little bit, and things have been handed to me for the people in this town. I've had it pretty easy, and a lot of the bad things I've done have been swept under the rug because with daddy's money and influence in town. There was one point where I did some bad stuff because I was getting pretty messed up on pills and all kinds of the things that you get into when you've got money and time on your hands. And that's when I discovered Monster Hunters Network and Josie Dynamite's a local girl. And I'm like, I can do that.
Local girl made good.
So I'm all for it. That's my ticket right there. I'm going to ride those coattails.
That monster hunting coattail.
I am Gary Dunhill. Gary's a survivalist. He's a cattle rancher, man of few words, has lived at this. I should say Gary is 47 years old. He's been on this property for, I think, since he was about 17 years old. The land used to be a little more fruitful until something tragic happened, turned it into a swamp. Gary's name for the monster is the Man. Gary believes that this is a global conspiracy out to decimate his family's farm.
I like that idea that the swamp's been growing over the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been spreading.
Cool. So we have our characters, we have our grid, and from there we'll roll into our story.
Josie is writing up looking over the final script details for the finale of the Monster Hunters, and she sort of debating whether or not to bring on Jason Tooms, to bring on Jason Tooms for this episode. I mean, obviously his father's sort of backed the show and has put a lot of money into it. And, we do go way back. We've known each other since we were kids. But, do I think he can, kind of shrug some of that sort of lower class, or no, you're upper class swamp, but you know, kind of sort of the
stink,
trouble,
you got the stink of swamp on you.
troublemaker stink.
Maybe you should call him up.
Sure. Well,
what city are you in? Mm-hmm. Where do you produce out of?
We produce out of Sucker Creek. Yeah, I guess because that's where most of the shows are taking place. So the network doesn't necessarily need to be based in Sucker Creek, but I think for this season, we've been shooting in Sucker Creek for a long time. And I'd say that, like, I've already had a conversation with you. Like, maybe our initial contact was this sort of lead about the Basin. I'm really kind of I'm looking over maps and sort of trying to figure out where the Sucker Creek Basin is exactly and what we would need to get down there, what kind of crew we need. That I'm sort of running through some paperwork. When something happens.
Is it something good or bad, gang? What do you think?
What do you think, Pat? How does this scene end for Lauren's
Josie
character,
Dynamite.
Josie?
I think this is going to
Josie
end
Dynamite.
well.
It does. It ends well for
Green.
Josie.
Cool. So I realize we've got plenty of money in the budget if I take on Jason Tooms. I feel like I'm feeling really good about getting a good crew. I have also made contact with Gary Dunhill, who is going to be maybe our guide for this expedition into the Basin. At least that's what I'm hoping.
Tooms timber pickup truck. It's green with like the Tooms timber logo on it. It's tearing down this like unpaved road.
Yep.
I'm blaring some like Linkin Park.
Mud splatterings everywhere.
Mud's,
You
like,
got some
going
mud
over-
flaps on
Yeah.
there.
And I'm wearing a Tooms timber hat.
You are.
I got chaw.
Trucker hat?
I got some chaw going
Got some chaw
on.
going on.
And just like tearing down the road. And I pull up in front of Esther's hog farm.
You sure do.
She's throwing chestnuts to the pigs.
Yep, throwing some pig.
And I hop out, slam the door.
And I say, Baby Tooms,
What you doing, Miss Canton?
I haven't seen you on this property since you were stealing our hogs 15 years ago.
Well, I got a deal for you.
A deal?
Yeah, Dad asked me to come down and ask about. Well, we've asked before, but would you be willing to sell some of your property?
You know that my family can't sell you any of our land to me.
Psh. You know what?
You get on back to your daddy and tell him he ain't gonna get none of this
Your
land.
cousin sold her farm to us just last year. We've already cleared it. She made a mint. She got a piece of it.
But good old Sucky ain't on that land anymore, is he? He's only on my land. I saw him just last night.
I mean, if
He was coming through the swamp.
Look, none of our workers have seen
My pigs were scared.
him. That's an old joke, man.
Okay. But I'll tell you what. One of these days, everybody in the creek, in this damn basin's going to understand that Sucky's here to help us.
I'd say help yourself there, Esther. Get yourself some dry land, move your pig farm, get some cattle like old Dunhill.
I'm going to help myself to some of that bacon off your backside if you don't get off this property.
All right. Well, you know what, Esther? You better watch yourself. Us Toomies don't take no for an answer.
And us Cantons are watching all the time.
And I sort of, as I come forward and sort of am like getting in your face,
And I just...
I trip over a hog.
Yeah,
and
you
just
trip over a hog.
land in the mud.
Exactly, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, shoot. God damn. And I kick one of your hogs, and I'm like, look, you Miss Kenton.
You're going to pay
I'm
for
done
that.
with
That's expensive swine flesh.
You forget it. And as I am getting up, I slip back in the mud, and I kind of get back to my truck and shut the door and hit my leg in the door. God damn, just cursing as I peel away, spraying mud everywhere.
And I light a cigarillo.
While this is happening, Gary hears the truck sort of tearing down the road.
Yeah.
And Gary he's outside on his porch, kind of caressing the siding of his farm, sort of investigating a fresh bullet hole
Oh.
that is clearly coming from the same angle as Esther's farm.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
And he turns around to see this whole interaction going down from a distance, and he can't really hear. He can hear like the yelling, and I feel like this has happened before. So he's just there, like, this is the regular day to day. He sees Jason slip in the mud, and he just goes, yeah. In that moment, he watches him drive away, and he goes back inside, grabs something from right inside the door, and leans a rifle up against the railing of his porch.
All right.
Okay.
What does he want from the scene? Like, what's going to happen to her?
Yeah. What is he trying to get out of the
trying to
scene?
do? I think he was taking that as a premonition of danger to come. He's got like a little twitch in his leg anytime a storm's coming through, and to have Jason coming by screaming at old Esther.
He feels like something bad is coming. No, your premonition, your feeling of
what does that mean? That
how does that manifest now?
You come out and put your gun on the porch, and you're sitting there because there's a reason you would grab that gun, and then what sparks? What realization do you have? What small?
Oh no,
like,
it's
shitty
absolutely
thing happens?
okay. So he places the rifle up against the edge of the porch. As this is happening, he remembers who your family is and what this conversation probably is about, sort of capitalism coming in to buy out the region, and he's afraid that he knows that he can't hold on for much longer.
You, meaning Gary and Jason, have a troublemakers relationship. Have you guys gone carousing in the past, or have you had run-ins in the past?
I think carousing in the past,
Okay.
But now that you're back and getting cleaned up, he's worried that
You
you're
want
getting
nothing to do with
corrupted by your
Gary.
father.
Yeah.
Esther and Gary, it's that night, and they are sort of meeting for their sort of nightly. I don't even know how to put it exactly. They probably smoke a few cigarillos, drink some sour mash, and chat. I think that there is a companionship that they share that is not sexual but is intimate. I think definitely for Esther, she sees Gary as her confidant, possibly her only confidant. She doesn't have any friends or family who are around. She doesn't really interact with many people. She's kind of a shut-in. She's paranoid. But she and Gary have been able to connect on this sort of paranoid, kooky idea that there is some sort of conspiracy that is happening in the area. And so they're there together. It's really dark out. Only the lights really that are coming in are starlight. It's just pitch black. We can see our electric lamps, sort of our homes, yards away. And she's smoking a cigarette. And she says, that Tooms boy came by again. You saw him, huh?
Of course I saw him. I was out on my porch.
I want to buy the land. I'm telling you, Gary. They're looking for good old Earl. They're looking for Sucky.
Well, did they offer you anything this time?
Just money.
That's
it. I'm surprised. I'm waiting for him to offer me the mayorship, offer me, my pick of the hogs in the county. Who knows what?
You've done enough to
Cars,
deserve
helicopters, space shuttles.
I mean, you got enough land for a space shuttle.
That's true. I could build my own space shuttle and fly away. But who would take care of the hogs, Gary? That's not going to work.
I mean,
It's not going to work.
Listen, if you ever need to leave,
I ain't my folks didn't leave this land, and I ain't leaving this land. I'm gonna die on this land. My no good sister left, and I haven't heard from her since that day.
Do you think she would ever come back to help?
Word around town is she is back, but I don't think she's here to help.
I mean, you should reach out. You remember how much she used to love those hogs?
She does love hogs. I'll say that much for her. But she's trying to turn a profit on our family's legacy, our family's history. She's trying to bring that capitalism that you've been talking about, hardcore, into this area. Trying to make Sucky into some sort of Barnum and Bailey dancing 3-ring. Sucky just wants to be left alone. Sucky's here for all of us.
Sucky's coming for all of us.
Oh, yeah. Esther sort of is taken aback by that a little bit. And she says, shame on you, Gary. Sucky's here long before we long after he takes care of this land somehow, some way. I'm
He
surprised.
certainly didn't take care of this land when it turned into a swamp.
You know, I got a theory on that. My theory is Sucky saw what was happening all around, got angry, and decided, I'm going to take this land back. And that's when that swamp started growing. So maybe it's some sort of defense. That's what I would think. Oh, Sucky, I wish I could meet him out there in the swamp. We'd talk. I know we'd connect. I know it. Will you help me look for Sucky?
Sure. Would you like to, you want to go out for a walk right now? The moon's out. Get some good light.
How does this go, you guys? We're Esther at this point. She's gotten Gary to agree to go hunting for Sucky with her, which was sort of what she was trying to get out of it. But now he's offered to take her for a moonlit stroll.
I think we go negative then.
We go negative then? Okay.
Negative. All right.
It's a nice moonlight stroll.
It's a nice moonlight stroll.
Yeah.
All right. So we're on our moonlight stroll, and we're laughing and whatever, just talking, reminiscing, chatting, being friends. And that's when we start to hear the squeals, horrid, fearful squeals of pigs dying as we look, and it seems as if someone has set my pig pen on fire. And that is where the scene will end.
Bring, 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 bring.
Cool. My phone is ringing. I answer it. What time of day or night is this?
Early the next morning.
Early next morning. Okay.
Bring, 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 bring.
Yeah, the phone rings for a few times. It's slow being picked up. There is no answering machine, no voicemail, but it is finally picked up. Hello. Oh, the Canton residence.
Esther? Is that you?
Yes.
You sound funny.
I'm just waking up. Who is this?
This is your sister Josie.
Josie. Oh my God.
I know it's
can't
been a
believe it.
long time. I mean, maybe you've heard the Monster Hunters is in town filming our season finale episode, and Esther, we really need to find Suki. We really need to find Earl. This could be a great opportunity for you to finally be able to meet him and talk to him. I would love to be able to shoot on the property for this final episode.
I am just overwhelmed. I can't believe you're calling me up asking me this.
I mean, this has been just
Do you
a
know
dream.
what's been going on here the past 10 years? Do you know what's been going on here since you left? Dreams.
Yes.
Dreams. My pig pen burned last night. My hogs are dead.
Oh, dear.
And
Who would have done such a thing? How did that happen? Did you leave the?
I don't know.
Did you leave the?
But I think those Tooms boys
oil
had
lamp
something
on?
to do with it. I know it. I know they did.
Oh no, the Tooms have been giving tons of money to our network to put the Monster Hunter show together.
Like filming show? What are you even talking about?
I mean, you're not gonna like this, but I told Mr. Toom that we would allow Jason, maybe to have something to do with the show. Give him a little, I don't know.
I don't care what you do with your show. You do whatever you want. You're coming.
Well, they
you want to
paid a
film
lot of
on
money.
my property?
You'll get paid for a location fee. I mean, this could be some good money to fix up the porch and, fix up the hog barn if it's been burnt down. I mean, you could use this money. I know you could put it to good use.
I think that goes well.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, cool.
Cool.
Definitely. It totally goes well. And Esther says, well, I do need the money to replace the hogs and to fix up the ranch. And you do need to come visit home. You ain't been home in years.
And I plan
And
to
if you have
be
an
home for
idea
the whole
about
month.
how to find Earl.
I think I do. I've been combing over the maps all night, and this is gonna be
All right, well.
great, Esther. You just wait and see. I'm gonna come by this afternoon, and we're gonna talk about it.
I got a lot of work to do, so you come around and we'll have ham hocks and split-eyed pea soup for dinner.
Oh, it's been a long time.
All
that
right,
sounds great.
I'll see you around dinner time then.
All right.
And mind the swamp. Click.
We're getting these flashes.
Yes.
So it's just the camera lurches and stumbles. You getting these odd POVs, kind of trees and nice like adult child's apartment above a garage kind of sea with some bottles getting scattered, and you realize you're in a POV as a bottle comes to the mouth and somebody taking a drink, and you hear Tooms say, "Well, I'm getting old Ken. She done listen my family, my daddy. Oh, the old Ken." And a stun, you see kind of flashes. I stumble out the door into the car, like the road. You see a truck sort of weave and dodge down the way, and you flash and cross flash, and you see Gary and Jason Tooms. This is probably like 10 years back. They're much younger, and similar kind of flashes as they pass a pipe back and forth, as he's like, smoking some freebase, passes it over, takes a swig, and they're just like sitting out in like the bed of a truck in the middle of the woods, and in the mud, and Gary, I think you're on to something.
Oh, I'm glad you're finally listening to me.
I don't know what's out there, but if a government's involved, my father's probably involved. I don't know. But we got to go out there and we got to find this thing and we got to stop it.
Yeah, we do. This thing's got eyes in these woods. And this thing is bigger than these woods.
We got to stop it. Let's get out there. Let's go get it. And we just start stumbling out into the woods with guns. More flashes, sort of like cross cuts. You just see like two guys stumbling around in the woods, and we hear a sound, and like out deep in the woods. What that, Gary?
And Gary very dangerously swings his gun around.
Ignoring all gun safety
all
rules.
Gun safety, finger on the trigger, and swings it around to this bush that's kind of trembling, and he can't tell if it's in the wind or if there's a creature behind it.
All right, how's this gonna go?
You think it's gonna go good? All right.
All right.
Why not? Why wouldn't it?
So, Tooms stumbles towards the bush and tackles it. and a rabbit leaps out, and he's like, get it, scrambling after it. And there's a shot that like blows a hole in a tree just above Jason's head. You're like, you almost got it, good one. And I stumble along, and then I kind of like fall face down in the mud and pass out.
Yep.
Then cut to current day.
Back
The sun is coming up, and there's, through the thin trees in the swamp, there's smoke up in the sky, like off in the distance, and there are some beer bottles around, and Jason Tooms gets up. He's feeling it. His head is real heavy. The sun's too bright, and he looks at his clothes, and he's got like soot, and he smells burned.
Smelled of burned pig flesh.
Smells bad.
It's the day after the fire. It's probably about mid-afternoon. Gary did not sleep. Gary spent most of his day stockpiling his weapons wherever he could. These rifles, most of them not really maintained too well, but a couple of them in the key locations, hid behind the couch, hid behind the under his driver's seat. And after he had done all his planning, he gets all geared up in his nice survival clothes, his very worn-in boots, and like his
finest survival clothes.
Yeah. He has since switched out of his trademark flannel into an olive green canvas shirt that he had, and he gathers up the MREs he still had in his kitchen and trudges over to Esther's house and knocks gingerly on the door. Hey, Esther, you awake?
I don't think you hear any response from inside.
Okay.
But you hear Esther's voice calling loudly to pigs behind the house. going back there, you see definitely that the pig pen is like parts of the corral basically burned down. The sort of the logs and the boards and the posts are sort of smoking or burnt. So there are also some pig corpses around, I think. So she's sort of been switching and hitting the remaining pigs into like a auxiliary sort of like corral,
and there's
basically.
Like a sweet, smoky
Yep.
bacon smell.
Yep, there sure is. There sure is. No, you know what? I mean, I don't even know. Do pigs eat their own dead? Because the pigs eat most anything. So it's possible that, there's some like half-digested pig parts around
She's
as well.
just trying to keep the pigs away from the dead pigs.
Yeah, well, she's trying to get them into like a makeshift corral with like they made out of chicken wire or something like that she made this morning.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Maybe you could salvage part of them.
Yeah, so she's
Sell some of the
surveying
meat.
everything.
Yeah.
She says, "Oh, Gary, hi there. Oh,
What are you
it's
doing
just-
back here, Esther?
Well, taking care of everything. Thank you so much for your help last night. I don't know what I would have done without you rounding everybody up. I know catching a pig ain't as easy as it used to be. But just remember, put those knees together and just fucking grab that sucker."
I mean, we did have some pretty good luck with the remainders last night.
Well, that's one good thing about working on a pig farm. You never go hungry. But I might just go hungry if I can't sell as many pounds of flesh this year as I normally
And he
do.
interrupts Esther by putting his hand around her and goes, I brought you these. And he opens up a kind of ratty rucksack. And goes, it's all I have. And it's
What's inside? What's inside?
It's the MREs. It's the,
Okay. MREs. Oh, well, that's kind of you, Gary. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're
And
welcome.
she takes them.
You let me know if you need any help cooking those.
I will, and I would love to have you. My estranged sister's coming by tonight. I haven't seen her in about 10 years.
You talking about Josie?
Yeah, no, Josie Canton's back in town.
So why is she coming over?
She wants to make a deal.
What kind of deal?
Oh, I don't know. They want
The same kind of deal as that Tooms boy?
No, they're not buying the land. They just want to lease it, rent it, I guess, for a little while.
For what?
I don't know.
She must have told you. Filming something.
I don't know what her business is.
It better be a damn pig documentary.
Maybe. That could be interesting. But I don't think so. She said that they're looking for Gary. And that they might be able to, well... She said, "You're Gary." I meant they're looking for Earl. She said they're looking for Earl. And she said she could maybe, if they find him, that I'd get to meet him. I don't know. It sounds maybe too good to be true, but I have some things I need to say to her anyway, so I'm glad she's going to come.
All right. Well,
But you should come over for dinner maybe another night. It's going to be a family night tonight, I guess.
Gary just has this kind of dejected look on his face. And he's going to go over to some of the pig corpses and ignore that, or pretend to ignore that, and go over to some of the pig corpses and the burned down pig pen. And you can tell he's like kind of going deep in his survival knowledge, and he's like looking at the burn marks and like how the pigs were.
Yeah, definitely.
And
She's doing his
should this be our
tracking.
Point?
I think so, yeah. How does this go for Gary?
Something goes well for you here.
All right, Gary.
Using his rudimentary survival skills, or in this case, detective work, he's looking at the corpses of these pigs and the burned down pen, and he doesn't know what he's looking for. He's just looking at the crime scene and sort of internally just dejected because he's like, they don't teach you anything about this in survival school. Like, they teach you how to build the fire, but not to find out who did it. And I think in his rummaging around, he finds an empty gasoline canister that was
Sure. Yeah, makes sense.
With the
Just drunkenly left somewhere.
Tooms Timber logo on it.
Yeah.
Or it's like a something from an industrial log, like a log cutter would use, not like.
And your name is written on it in Sharpie.
Yeah.
Jason Tooms.
JT.
And JT. Property of JT.
All right.
I think he walks out of the pen and playing up like scene of the crime, got the evidence right here. It was that Tooms boy.
By sucky. I think that it's very appropriate to have the dinner scene for the final scene of Act 1 with Josie and Esther. What does Josie look like? What kind of car is she driving? What is this all? How is this all looking as she's arriving?
I mean, she's not like all like decked out because she's just coming home. She's not like, how she would normally dress on her show. So she's just in just some jeans and a button-down shirt that's like kind of tucked in with like a leather belt and some like knee-high leather boots that are all very practical,
But they're also
very
not from,
fashionable.
Yeah, they're not from Walmart.
Yeah,
Like,
the collar's up a little bit, the buttons are down a little bit. Yeah,
dusting some mud off of them, like very aware.
Yeah, like her boots are, they don't look like they've been monster hunting boots. They look like they've been in the office
Right.
boots.
Like $500 boots.
Sure. I don't think she's that well known. Maybe she is. How big of a show is this show?
I don't know. Big enough these are her.
TVs.
Yeah.
Josie Dynamite.
I know.
Josie Dynamite,
Atlanta.
the monster hunter.
Exactly.
Turner
It's like
presents.
it's statewide
Sure,
at
yeah.
least. It's like statewide, if
I mean,
not
yeah, sure. I mean-
regional.
It's on the History Channel.
It's on the History Channel.
You're in the media market. You're there.
Cool.
Like Discovery.
Yeah, it's on Discovery Channel. Some like
All those
the,
learning channels.
Discovery
Yeah.
Peach.
right before the Ghost Hunters.
Yeah.
Monster Hunters is on. You're a good lead in.
It's Swamp Week.
Yeah. Yeah, her show kind of airs like around dinner time. So she comes over, she drives a Jeep, like one of the like a new like hardcover like Jeep Wrangler, kind of like a little risen up, a little high and all black, perfectly clean. There's no mud splatter on it at all, but she's got like kind of like the bigger treaded tires, but still sort of like city
Right.
tires. If you were in a city, you'd think like, whoa, she goes off-roading. But if you're, in the country where you guys are, you're like, this would never cut it. Like, and she's got, so she has like the rack on top and the fog headlights, but the covers are still on them,
Yeah. That exhaust pipe thing, so you can like go in deep water, but it obviously like this car's never gone in more than like a puddle.
Exactly. So she's like, she's prepared. So she thinks, should she, have to be. She parks in the driveway.
I think that the Canton Ranch, as it were, farm, is not landscaped in any way, shape, or form. I think that the property itself, I think, has been the property lines have been painstakingly identified by wooden fences, basically, that are sort of built on top of like mountains of stone, like field stone fences that used to be there, like just historical on sort of levels of different sort of property boundaries.
So I'm on like the
and
road and I just see like
it's
an
just like
area to go
it's
through
like-
between
right.
two
it's just
fences.
Yeah.
gravel
Exactly.
and churned stone
Exactly.
to like a bald patch of lawn in
Yes,
front of
Sure.
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Cool.
it's all churned up too. I think it's pretty muddy here. It's pretty bald patch lawn. I think that I live currently. I think I'm living in the mobile home that my parents bought after the farm had a tree go through it, like the farmhouse, and they weren't able to fix it back up, so they were too old too.
You still use the kitchen in the house.
Yeah,
Is
use
that
the kitchen in the
house?
house. Exactly. That's got the pump water
But you
in
sleep
there. You sleep in the mobile home.
And so there's still just like a big tree kind of like leaned over on the
definitely.
house.
Into the house, yeah. 100%.
I'll get around to
Just
it.
like
And there's
plastic
a
that
bunch of
yeah.
dogs
Yeah.
and cats around, other farm
Sure.
animals, ducks, geese, chickens, but no hogs though, so no cows, no horses, no sheep, no goats. Maybe one ornery goat, maybe tied somewhere that I throw trash to. And otherwise, I'm dressed in old army galoshes, moth-eaten coveralls, almost like bib coveralls. I'm wearing at this point, I'm wearing like a knitted Afghan around my shoulders. It's kind of like Coke bottle glasses, really curly, sort of, but hanging down in clumps, sort of mousy, brownish gray hair. I guess sort of watching you with my hands up my hips as you're sort of getting out of your car.
Sure, yeah. And so I pull into the grass patch and totally feel like the front tire go like into like a mud
Yeah.
puddle. And I try to like back it up a little bit and I kind of splatter dirt everywhere, and I finally get on like solid surface again and just sort of get out, roll my eyes at the house that literally like nothing has been done in the the 10 years. It looks like it's just, I can see like the weather sort of deteriorating all of the wood. The paint is like completely chipped off. I start making my way up the porch, and my foot like goes through the step, like the wooden step, and I'm like, just kind of like grab onto the post onto the porch and
Get a splinter.
Watch your step there.
yeah. And I was like, we're going in the house, right? As I see you kind of like coming across the lawn.
I'd say
from the trailer.
Well, I started up the gas generator, so there'll be a little bit of light inside. Yeah, let's go. We can go in there first.
I'd say it's still light out too. Like,
oh
it's
yeah,
not...
I mean we can do whatever you want.
It's early.
It's good that you came back, Josie. It's good that you came back.
Well, thanks, Esther. I'm very excited for this episode. This is very exciting. I mean, I feel like this just kind of brings together all the stories that Dad told us. Like this episode is going to be dedicated to him. This is what he's always this. We got to get the truth out there. We got to show people that Sookie really exists. And she kind of like interrupts herself, and she like kind of looks over out the window at Gary's property. And she's like, is that Gary Dunhill still kicking?
Good old Gary, very reliable.
Maybe we should invite Gary over for dinner. I think
Well, he knows the swamp better than anyone else. I'll say that much.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, he mentioned something about going deep into that old basin. You think he still, does he ever go out there?
Yeah, he's been a lot of different places. But Josie, you're come back home now, and that's what's most important, is that you come back to the land and you see what's going on here.
I see the house is falling apart, and this money's gonna be really good for you. We can really fix this place up. I mean, this is what happened. What's happened? What have you been doing?
You know what happened? The tree fell on the house.
But you haven't done anything to fix this.
It's been lean times. We ain't been making any money off the hogs. Not enough to build the house back up. And with the swamp spreading, and with all the Tooms boys all around everywhere.
Why haven't you called me? I could have loaned you some money. This is just. Well, it's okay.
I can't argue with you, Josie, about your lifestyle. You know that I don't approve. But not everything is about money for me, my young one. There's more to life than fancy cars and trimmed eyebrows.
Esther, but we are family, and even though, I might be younger than you and maybe you're a little jealous of my success, does not mean that you should feel like you can't ask me for money. I would gladly try to help support and keep this house. I mean, this is the house.
I don't even know what you do for a living. I don't own a television. You told me you're filming something? That's good. I haven't heard from you in 10 years.
And she like brings out her phone and she starts to pull up like,
what is that?
The last episode. And it's like you see like the opening credits to now on the Monster Hunters with Josie Dynamite.
Why don't it say Josie Canton on there?
Well, Dynamite just has a better ring to it.
This is what I'm getting at. You spurned your history girl. And Sookie ain't never gonna see you, look at you in the eye when you spurn your history like that. Esther looks at Josie and says, but you got me. You got me in a bind, sister. I do need that devil money.
Just don't think of it like that, will you, Esther? Oh, come on.
But I won't bring Gary into this. I won't sully his pure soul. It seems as if it's going poorly for Esther. Esther says, he knows the swamp better than anyone else. You know that he once told me he saw Sookie's shadow down in the deep creek basin.
Great.
What?
I mean, this is going to be great. So should we invite Gary over for dinner?
I guess we should if he can help. But
And you're like standing there.
You
like
better
you saw
treat
me
him
drive
nice.
up. Like,
Yeah, right.
you're, like,
He's already at the window.
you're already like waiting for us to like wave you over.
All right. I think that's where the scene will end, with us sort of resolving that we're going to bring Gary into our foul plot, or our great plot, as the case may be. Our plot. The plot.
Much to your chagrin.
Much to my chagrin, exactly.
All right, so that's the end of Act 1. We will generate our tilt. So everyone roll your dice. So we generate our tilt. We have tragedy, death right on time, and paranoia. 2 people cross paths, and everything changes. All right, so we will interrupt our story here and resume in our next communique. I was one of your players, John Holt. You can find me on Twitter at Lord Joho, and you can find me on Instagram at board_ghost. And you can listen to my other podcast, New to You Show.
Great podcast.
At newtoyoushow.com. Ken, where can people find you?
You can find me all over the interwebs. I'm on Twitter at Berlingsbeard, Berings Beard. Also underneath that screen name at Instagram and on the Twitch. We're doing some streaming, which is fun, and definitely check me out on my own blog under the same name. How about you, Pat?
Hi, I'm Pat Cartelli. You can find me on Twitter at Pat Cartelli. Check out my other podcast, Repeater.
Also a great podcast.
Thank you.
You're
It's Repeater, a little show about big songs. We interview people about songs they like, songs that mean a lot to them. It's a real fun time. That is on Twitter at Repeater Show.
All right, and Lauren.
Cool. You can find me at the 20-Sided Store in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Woo! I'm on most social medias at 20-Sided Store. So you can find some fun pictures and things happening and all kinds of cool stuff. You can buy Fiasco from us if you really enjoyed listening to this show and want to try this game for yourselves at home.
You totally should. And you guys are doing, what, D&D on Wednesday nights? And
we've got a lot of different events. You can check out our events calendar at 20sidedstore.com/events, or just click on the events link when you get to our website. And we've got a lot of really cool events coming up. I'm not sure exactly when this is going to air, so I'm not going to say anything specific. Just check the calendar.
To learn more about the players and engine in our story, visit boardghost.com. You can attempt to pierce the veil and contact us at BoardGhostWorld on Twitter. Shout out through the ether if you have desires we can fulfill. Please leave reviews and comments on iTunes or your preferred listening portal, and please take a moment to subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest episodes. We'd like to thank Pat Couples for our theme song and interlude music. You can find more about Pat at patcouples.tumblr.com or on his band's website, hotelsandhighways.com. If you're not alone in the void, share our stories. The more they are consumed, the truer they become.
If living is a highway, then heaven is a bus stop. Been waiting for a minute there.